Hi there, I'm Henrik Mårtensson. And I hope you got a cup of coffee, because I do. And if you sit down and you're relaxed, well, we're going to talk about my latest storyboard. And yeah, it's just a storyboard, it's not a finished picture, and that's because I'm not doing any photography until the pandemic is over. But I think the storyboard is interesting enough to talk about, and in particular, my sources of inspiration for the picture. Now, for a couple of years now, I've wanted to do a picture with lizardmen in it. And there are reasons for that. The lizardmen have been around in fiction, in science fiction, particularly in the Lost World genre, at least since Edgar Rice Burroughs, you know, the guy who wrote Tarzan, since he wrote At the Earth's Core. There was an lizard people there, or dinosaur derived people there, the Mahar, and in a later book in the same series he introduced the Horribs, who were even more lizard-like than the Mahar. And there is a lot of other examples in literature. For example, Robert E. Howard, most famous for his Conan stories. He also wrote about King Kull. And in the very first Kull story, The Shadow Kingdom, there were serpent men. And then other writers who wrote in the same universe, the same shared universe, they also used serpent men. In the movies, we've seen various kinds of lizardmen, from the Gorn in Star Trek to the Drak, or Draco, I think it was called, in Barry Longyear's Enemy Mine. Barry Longyear wrote a short story about two enemy soldiers that crashed on a rather hostile planet and had to cooperate to survive. This was later made into a movie with Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr., and Gossett's performance as the alien is something that stands out. That was back in 1985, so it's a couple of years ago. Other famous on-screen lizard people are, for example, the Scarrans from Farscape. So, so there are a lot of lizard men and lizard people around. And I had this idea of having two warriors standing back to back and fighting lizard men. Now, in order to get the composition right, I made the fighter further away larger to make her more visible where she stood behind the front character. I wanted some details like the bloody swords, for example, and to have bloody swords I needed to have lizard men with blood on them, so there are a couple of dead lizard men lying in the water in the picture. For this picture, since it was going to be pretty dark, I wanted analogous colors ranging from green and orange to red. I thought that would work in torchlight. The lighting, I basically limited myself to two torches. And that affected the composition because everything had to be visible in the light from the torches. So but the upside of it was that I could have one key light and one rim light, and even if I couldn't lighten the shadows much, well, I didn't need to. I didn't make it pitch dark around, just almost. So there you have the basic idea and the basic composition, and well, the rest is technique. And techniques, I've talked about that in other videos, and I will do it more later on. So for now, that's all. Be seeing you. By the way, you might be interested in how I did the animation, but that's a topic for another video. If you click subscribe and subscribe to my channel, then you won't miss it. And don't miss that the version of the animation at the end of this video is slightly different. It's painted. Have a look.